Good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton. I'm bringing you today the David Moyes press conference in anticipation for the quarter-final against the Spurs tomorrow evening. How are you all? I hope you are well, keeping safe. I hope you enjoyed Russ's, DJ Russie B's Transfer Tuesday, giving you a rundown of the millions and millions, if any of you's watched the wrestling, of transfers and players that we are linked to, from Jesse Lingard to Jonathan David, to his auntie, to their uncle, to their gran, to their kids, to their dogs, to their pets. Every single person is linked to West Ham. 1 minute they're coming, the next minute they're not. The next minute they are coming, the next minute they're going to come on loan, then they're going to sign for 20 million, then 8 million, then 9 million, then they're going to get 100k a week, then they're going to go to Newcastle, then they're going to go to Man City. This is the roller coaster that is the West Ham transfer window. But it's not just West Ham. Let me tell you that right now. It's not just West Ham. It's every other Premier League club and every other football club around in existence who are looking for particular players. That is just the nature of the world that we live in. Anyway, I hope you are safe and keeping well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed Stell's show yesterday evening, talking about fingers crossed, the good news that Kurt Happy Zuma could be working his way back into fitness and hopefully here for the rest of the season. Touch wood if he gets back as soon as possible, because we desperately need him, obviously, with the amount of games we've got coming up. Of course, we were going to do videos for you for the Norwich game, but that changed because the game was suspended and postponed due to COVID cases of the breakout at Norwich. And up until, from my understanding, up until yesterday, we were, as a club, 100% COVID free, but we're not anymore. And we have some cases in and around the squad and or the staff at West Ham. So I do believe there's new regulations being put in place, and the clubs are all trying to tighten their strict rules, etc. And hopefully it doesn't kind of go through the club like wildfire, which some of the clubs it has happened to. But it looks like the game is, of course, going ahead. It's tomorrow evening. It looks like it's going ahead with fans in the stadium as well. So fair play to those West Ham fans travelling to the Tottenham Hotspur ground for the game in itself. And it is a quarter-final of the League Cup, a quarter-final of a League Cup. And what an opportunity for West Ham to get through to the next round, of course. But let's fingers crossed hope that we do get through to the next round and there is no ban on fans going to the stadiums, because how ridiculous would that be that we would hopefully, for the first time in so many years since the final against Liverpool in the FA Cup, get to a final and then no fans would be allowed. Let's just hope that does not happen. Let me jump into the chat and see who is kicking about. Billy, WHUFC, hey folks, been away a while, busy with work and now stuck at home. I hope you are safe, Billy. Hope you're keeping well as well. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this, Billy. You heard the refs have told Moyes Soufal shouldn't have had a red and should have had a penalty at Burnley. That's all great when the FA are going to sort VAR. It's a joke. We talk about it during the show because David Moyes does talk about it. Irons, Hammer, Mulder, good early morning from LA. Anton, I love to see it. Love to see it. I'm watching loads of programs. My wife's got me watching these programs. It's all about LA and the weather just looks absolutely stunning. And I'm just sitting there like, ugh. From my knowledge, is it not the first? Is it not literally on the 1st of January? It opens. And yeah, exciting times. Absolutely exciting times. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. We're going to batter Spurs. Come on, you Irons, Jimmy Packs. Absolutely. But the interesting thing here, Jamie, is the fact of who's going to be available and will COVID strike between now and tomorrow again. And it's going to be really tough. We're going to do a preview tonight, but it's going to be a really tough one because, I mean, we don't know who's got the virus, and we don't know from the opposition who's got the virus. So all we can do is kind of guess and hope that players make it, and who's going to be available for the game. So we'll talk about it. You're judging, babe. Who's judging? Me? I'm not. Jammy Packs, the 1st of January. There you go. James Bond, good mid-afternoon, chaps and chapettes. Happy Amaret. Hope you're well. Thank you very much. Grant Croxford, afternoon all. Good to see you. It's normal now. We're all talking to each other. How it is? Afternoon all. Good to see you, James Bond. Good to see you. So let's get started on the press conference from David Moyes today. Of course, again, he always is a busy man but he did go straight into the COVID cases. He says, we're very good. The training ground has been very good. Most of them are okay. We have one or two with the virus, but mostly we're good, and long may that continue. A lot of us are all double jabbed and boosted. We've got some staff members with the virus, some with no symptoms. It's not players or coaches, it's everybody in society. We have to do everything we can to keep everyone healthy and safe. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go through politics and people's rights and what their beliefs are. It's not my place to do that. I'm just giving you the news of what David Moyes has done. Now, when the game was cancelled against Norwich, the West Ham training ground opened up as an option for first, second, and booster vaccinations for all players and staffs and family members, etc. And from my understanding, a lot of people took it up. So it looks like West Ham are probably one of the highest levels of uptakes of people who are taking the vaccines and the boosters. So he doesn't elaborate if it's just the staff. He does say a bit about the player, one or two within the playing squad. I mean, he doesn't elaborate. It's tough to know exactly who it is. I mean, you're starting to see rumours kicking about that maybe it's Antonio, etc. But I'm not really too sure exactly who it is. And I think maybe as the day goes on, we may start to hear a little bit more news on who and who might not be available for the game. Now, one player we do know that's not available is Vladimir Sufal. Of course, because he was sent off due to a second yellow card, which shouldn't have been, in my opinion. I still don't buy it at all. I don't buy it. We should have got a penalty. And Moyes did go on to talk about VAR. He said, I find it really hard to have two sets of eyes and they wouldn't get it correct. I've been a football player and a manager. I would hope if I'm sitting in front of a TV from 4 or 5 angles, I would have a really good opinion. And if I was unsure, I'd send the referee over to collaborate rather than leaving it to one person. The disappointment is they're not working well enough between the referees and the VAR studio. And I couldn't have put it right any better myself. It's ridiculous. It really is. I've seen decisions made in Italy this week from a goal disallowed, and I can't actually pinpoint. I think they thought that one player who was in an offside position was touching it. The guy was lying on the floor and not interfering, and I think it was AC Milan, and it was against Udinese, and I think the Udinese defender's leg touched the ball. It was ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, some of the decisions I'm getting made, and Moyes makes a valid point. I don't think they're putting the right people in charge. They're not putting... I know people are saying it's like referees have got a job to do, but you need to put people who know and understand the game, especially if they've got 4 or 5 angles. And the thing that does get to me is they don't sometimes look at the screen. And there was I seen an incident, was it the Tottenham-Liverpool game? And where one of the incidences happened, if the referee had just went like that, the telly was there, and he didn't do it. He didn't do it. And now he did send off Robertson, but for such a big decision, Robertson did deserve to get sent off. But for such a big decision, he should still turn around and look at the camera. It takes that, what? If you're going to take that amount of time anyway, you'd be as well doing it. That's just my humble opinion. So we do know that Sufal now, his suspension does carry forward to the Carabao Cup quarterfinal, so he won't feature in tomorrow's game, which is, depending on how you look at it, disappointing, positive, it depends on how you want to look at it. But for me, you want to field a strong team because you want to try and give the cup competition as much as you possibly can. So now people are saying, I think people are now, Stella, you winding me up now. Let me just check my audio. Hello? No, it's working. It's fine. I know it is. I'm not like you. He's on the wind up. I wasn't doing what Stella did last night in his show. There we go. Can't hear you. You can. We can. Don't you worry. James Bong, he's having a laugh. Finish now. Cheers. Anton, your camera is shaking and your mic isn't, but it is, mate. It is. Billy, I'm in bed shattered after my booster. Can't make Saturday now either. The booster is a knockout, Billy. I mean, I've had my booster and it was actually fine for me. I was okay from it. I mean, and most of my family have had it and they've all been fine. I think one member of the family felt a bit shaken from it, but I hope you're feeling okay. Billy, happy Amaret. Yep, all talking about that. Still back home now on leave, looking after my old man. I was fine after the first. I blame the Spurs doctor who jabbed me. This is a family show. Happy Amaret. Yes, please do. Billy, what would you do? Back for tomorrow. Fingers crossed on Creswell and Johnson. Is that just... Sorry, I've just seen what Stell has just put down, and I'm assuming I've just read that. I was listening. I'm sorry to kind of go. I was just listening to the minister in Scotland, and it looks like they're... Sorry. It looks like they're going to put fans, spectators into Scotland. Sorry, I've just been caught off guard there. Still, I was watching it before it came on. I was going to delay and just see. All right, so is it not? Has it not? I don't know. Still, tell me what's happening. Is Scotland going behind closed doors for football? I don't have a clue. It means that Sporting Stadia will be empty on Boxing Day onwards. Yes, behind closed doors. So that's Wales and Scotland now officially behind closed doors as of Boxing Day. So it looks like probably, I mean, I don't know. I'd be really surprised. No, it's not. It's Wales. It's Wales as well still. It is Wales. Wales and Scotland, as of Boxing Day, are officially behind closed doors. So now it's just England, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It will be us in January. Yep, absolutely. Right, let me jump on to the next part of the show, which is where are we? Where are we? Oh God, still you've just totally thrown me off. Moyes was discussing the fire break that all the clubs had a discussion with on Monday, and it sounds like he potentially was up for it. So he says, I think our Christmas program is so important to people in this country and the culture. Because of that, we're used to playing hectic Christmas problems. From a personal point of view, we've played a lot of games and it'd be nice to have a little bit of a break. Some clubs have had that. We've not. We play in this country. That's what we do. I'm not happy with all the things I'm hearing. We gave 4 or 5 young players their debut in Europe. What would that count against us if we didn't have the first team player? We'd have to put them down as first team players, which they're not. So obviously he seems to want a break. I think a lot of managers want a winter break, which we don't obviously get. But then equally, we do live in Britain and the culture is, you want to go to the football over the winter period and fans are desperate to go to the football. So to be able to hear that news, I mean, I don't go to any teams in Scotland subject to fake rumours from Stell. People will be devastated if they can't go to games. And I think that's maybe the decision the Premier League have made is they're going to continue the games, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do put it behind closed doors. And it sounds like a lot of managers potentially wanted a break because it would have suited their setups and suited their teams. And you saw the other night, I think it was Chelsea played Everton, and Everton had to field, I think, 2 or 3 young players in the team, but they drew with them. Like they gave them a good game. And I think sometimes that's what happens. I think some people think they're going to bend over backwards and take it, and Chelsea would have rammed it to them, but it didn't happen that way. It absolutely did not happen that way. Here we go. Happy Amaret saying, just got my Leeds ticket. I know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't know what is going to happen if they close the doors. What happens to our season tickets? Listen, we're just thinking, we're putting two and two together, thinking that this may happen. But as it stands, Wales and Scotland are now going to be spectator free from Boxing Day, and I just think it will be the same down south as well. To be honest, I'm not gonna do it. 2-week fire break. We have heard in the military apparently why asking us all how much we leave left. We won't know long before England goes the same way. And hopefully it's just for a little while. I think if they are going to do it, then if they are going to do it, I don't want them to do it. If they're going to do it, they need to make it a really short fire break. But hey ho, I'm not gonna sit here and debate with people over it. I'm not going to even put your comment up still. I'd rather you just keep that in there. I'm not going to highlight it and let you all have a debate about this. I'd rather games are cancelled from tomorrow at this moment in time. It's not going to happen, Happy, because I think when the games were cancelled the last time, football clubs had to pay money back to the media outlets, whereas if they don't cancel, then they don't have to pay the fee back. Therefore, they're going to keep playing the games and they're going to protect the games. The games are the financial thing, and I think the ticket money obviously comes to the football club, so that doesn't affect the camera money really. And as long as BT and Sky Sports and all them can keep filming the games and getting all these games up and running for the fans, then everyone's going to be happy with that. So I don't see the games getting cancelled unless something dramatically happen. Right, let me move on to the next part, which is the quarter final, of course, in the Carabao Cup. He says, when you're still in every competition, it's a great thing. We're in Europe, the quarterfinals of the League Cup, a strong position in the league. We're in a good place, but like everyone else, we all have injuries, so we're not different, and that plays its part. We go into every game with the intention of winning. I think you want to keep winning and a level of momentum going. We can get our way through this round, and it will be a big step for us. We're more than capable, but we're up against a good side, and we absolutely are up against the good side. There's no ifs buts about it. Hit a bit of form. Conte's in the club. He's kind of making his mark in there, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He goes on to talk about winning a trophy. He said, I'd love to win a trophy. It would be a great achievement. I don't want to be a side who win a trophy and then don't win anything for 20 or 30 years. There's a growing process where you have to build your team and a club to be competitive in all competitions. Wouldn't want to win the League Cup and be near the bottom three in the Premier League, for instance. But we've tried to prioritise through the season, and I'd love to be a trophy winner at West Ham. We're in all the competitions, and I'd love to stay in them. And that's all I want to hear from our manager, and that just shows you where his mindset is at. And this is why I don't panic. This is why I don't panic when things don't go right, because every club and every scenario, in order to grow, you're never going to grow just overnight and be a success, immediate success. You're going to have to ride that storm and ride that tidal wave, and there's going to be some bumps along the way, and we're currently in that bump, injuries and not getting the results over the line. But there's ways of how we bounce back. For me, the run of games we've got coming up is a way we can bounce back. For me, the fact that we're into the round of 16 in the Europa League and they're not playing our next game until March, there's a positive there. For me, if players come back, and we're literally 10 days away from the January transfer window opening, and as long as we're active and we bring in the players that Moyes wants, then there's another positive there. And so there are positives to take. We are in a strong position. Yet no, we haven't had results go right in recent weeks, but we are in a strong position. We are in the quarterfinals. We are in Europe. We're about to take on the FA Cup. We've got a good youth prospects coming through the academy, and of course we're sitting a tidy position in the Premier League, so we can't really complain. Right, so I have done the fire break, I've done VAR, I've done the quarterfinal, and he talks about West Ham's status. He said a mindset change has been a big part. We wanted to try to be organised against teams who are good with the ball and used to winning. We're still in the process of trying to build a squad and a team that can be competitive, really. At the moment, we're a little bit ahead of schedule of where we should be, but now we're not, and we're going to and we're not going to give it up. We're going to keep pushing, and I have to say there's been a lot of good things the players have done. There are other teams coming to us now who are making it harder to score against. That's part of becoming a big team. Other teams will try hard to stop you. It's paramount that everybody understands exactly where the boundaries are that have been set in place. Most footballers have ideas of what the rules entail. There are a lot of very similar things at football clubs. Football clubs aren't any different. We have to have rules and regulations and levels of standards, and that's what it looks like has happened. And that's what they're talking about with regards to Arsenal. They've obviously got a discipline in place, and Aubameyang's gone, and look at the form that they're in, and that's what he's trying to. It's the culture that Moyes is changing at West Ham, completely changing the culture of West Ham, forward thinking, eradicating any problems. When he's looking at players, he's thinking about, do you pass that mindset test? Are you going to come in? Are you going to cause a problem? For us as fans, we'll sit there and we'll talk about the players like Arnautovic, and we're like, oh, he's a bad egg. But Moyes changed his style of play and brought him in, and people were thinking Jesse Lingard, oh, he's a bad egg. He's causing problems at Man United before we brought him in. Look what happened when he brought him in. And I seen Still was talking about Dele Alli last night, and I don't think Tottenham would do business with West Ham. I really don't think they will, but I don't see why we wouldn't be looking at a player like Dele Alli, his quality, because when he is playing on his day, he is a fantastic footballer. But the thing is, if he came to the club and his hereditary had like lasyitis, a bit like Stell, a bit lazyitis. Like sometimes you can't get that out of people, and if Moyes would see that, and Moyes wouldn't take a risk on a player like that, but he would want hard work, determination. Past is the past, but I know you've got something about you, and this is what he's trying to create with this football club. I totally believe that he is going to do it. And one of the main players that helps us and grows us and helps us move forward is the man Declan Rice, which he talks about. He says, we've all seen his improvement playing for England. 2 years ago, people questioned whether he'd be in the team. Nobody is a stick-on for any team or country, but I certainly do think Declan has done a brilliant job, and long may that continue. And it is absolutely, he is a pivotal part of our team. He is unbelievable. He is next level. There's a joke going around in the WhatsApp group with Luke talking about how he finished second to Mo Salah, above Harry Kane. Michael Antonio is above Harry Kane. I mean, you don't get in those positions, and I get it. People are ripping into players like Mickey Antonio, but you don't get into those positions if you haven't done something good as a whole throughout the whole year, and he has. But Declan Rice is absolutely the next level, 100%. Right, let me jump into the chat and see what everyone else is saying. Billy, they just need to sort out and VAR, and we can have a big end to the season cup winners party at the supporters club. Could you imagine? Jay Woods, don't believe everything you read. Trust me, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it from an in the know matter, but just don't believe it. And the reason why I'm saying it is, Yesterday he was coming for 9 million. Today he's not coming. Tomorrow he'll be coming. Then the next day he won't be coming. So it's just a game of tennis. It's just a game of media tennis. Don't fall for it. It's just what it is. When we come on and do the shows that we do, we report like we yeah, okay, people might say, oh, it's a clickbait title, it's a clickbait title. I think it's really key and important, depending if you put your little symbols in there, like a question mark, like, well, are we going to sign this player, or is this player going to leave the club? But really, when you listen to our shows, what we're trying to say to you is, if we were to bring someone like these players in, what will they bring? So, but when you talk about the media, the fact that the media outlets can say he's not coming and he's going to stay, and then yesterday the same media outlet says he's going to come and he doesn't want to stay. I mean, I read one particular article about Jesse Lingard staying at Manchester United, and in and around that one article was about 12 different articles saying that he was definitely coming and he doesn't want to stay, and it's a World Cup year and it's important for him to get game time. So I don't see how we can sit here and say he's definitely not coming until it's heard it from the horse's mouth. I don't believe it until we've heard it from the horse's mouth. We are going to smash Tottenham, keep the faith, Father Snowline. Anton, if the new variant is not as bad, why have spectators not allowed if every vax and boosted? I really don't want to, Father Snowman, get into that topic because I don't want to say something that people misconstrue or whatever. From my understanding, from what we're told so far in Britain or in Scotland, that the variant isn't as bad. They're still waiting for some data, but they think that the variant isn't as bad. But that who am I to report that? I mean, I'm just me. But I think something to do with places being coming overrun because people are isolating. So if NHS staff are isolating, they don't have enough people in there to deal with the consequences. I heard a stat last night, though, that at this time last year, there was 20,000 people in hospital from coronavirus compared to the 7,000 this year. But I'm not getting into that topic. It's not for me. Your choice, make your own personal circumstances. That's the way people should do it. Still saying the Premier League still have to pay some money back because the TV companies claimed that televised games without fans isn't what the TV companies agreed to film. Well, that's interesting because I heard today that that's not the case. I heard that isn't the case, but that's interesting. Billy says, my dad said it's better to have injuries now and recover than get them in the new year and struggle. Partly agree. Absolutely. Happy Amaret, a good, fully rested side with a newly appointed great manager and refs on their side. We need to show them just how massive we still are. And it's a valid point. Absolutely. They've got players that are rested. But there are things, as much as Antonio Conte's in there, yeah, they've been chucked out of Europe. And I think, to be honest, I think as much as we slag them off, I think they're probably quite happy that they're not in Europe. I don't doubt that for a second. I think a lot of their fans we're not that arsed by that competition, and I don't know how much we would have been or other clubs would have been arsed by that competition, but hey ho. Billy, FA Cup rounds 3 and 4 straight knockouts said may make League Cup semi and that the same instead of 2 legs. Absolutely, I've seen that they're doing that with the FA Cup rounds 3 and 4. There's going to be no replays. The tie's going to be finished on the night. Adiati, is Connor Coventry good enough? It's debatable. I mean, people will say I'm watching him when he's out on loan, and I don't think I've saw anything that rams home. But I don't think it's just. Yeah, there's a lot difference of opinions with fans on how younger players should be egged into or transitioned into the first team. Some people think that players have to go out on loan and earn their right to play in the first team, and some people don't think that. I'm in the camp where I'm saying I don't think they have to. Just because they go out on loan and they don't have a great time doesn't mean they're going to come back and be a success. But then sometimes just because they go out on loan and they are successful doesn't mean they're going to come back and be successful. I think if the manager looks at the player and thinks he's capable, then he will step up and be capable. Or if he thinks at that moment he's not going to get enough game time, but I'd rather him go and get enough game time. So maybe Coventry's close, but he was not going to be close enough to get some game time, and maybe he's put him out alone, or maybe his decision made was let's see how we can hack it in the league that he's in. I'm not going to go through the team news because we're going to do that tonight, so don't worry about that. Tomo, good luck against Spurs. Absolutely. There's only one. Anton, cheers. Jakey boy, hope you're well. Don't despair, people. The quintuple is still on. Absolutely. Happy Amaret. Yes, we will then move on and smash Arsenal in the final. By the sounds of it, the youngsters out on loan has been a waste of time apart from Nathan Trott in France. Billy, Hammerette, I want Liverpool FA Cup revenge. No, Delhi, his face just winds me up. The point I'm trying to make is the player. What if there's an ounce of that player that can come back in to any football club? You're talking about Dele Ali on fire. Doesn't matter if his face annoys you or he plays for Tottenham. If he can play under the right manager to the highest of standards, then it would be silly for us to turn around and go, I'm not interested in him. But that's just me. Yes, he is. He is coming back. His hair annoys the crap out of me. I think he will play a strong side against Spurs, as strong as he can and as strong as he can allow. I'd rather Ali from the who's everyone's preferred route to the final. No, I'm not. No interest in being one. Crosshammer, if Lingard doesn't come, then I have to blame Dea. He's 100% prediction. Beat Spurs, beat Sunderland, beat everyone else. Absolutely. Bigger they come, the harder they fall. Does anyone know if West Ham clips are on here? The clips or attendance for commentary are funny as, yes, Tibbles. Herd immunity from a week would be Grumpy Old Ben. I don't know what you're talking about. James, afternoon, Jake bunking off. No, he's not. I think he is off school. It's called the holidays, living the high life. Looks like Tarkowski is the most realistic centre-back. We will sign Jay Woods. We think that. We've been interested before. He's the one I would believe the most because we have spoken out about him before in the past, and there's maybe an option to get him cheaper than what the anticipated £30 million potentially was as well. I'd rather Phillips, to be honest, from Billy. Commentary from Stell is getting no game time at Peterborough. He can come back next month, can't he? I think he can. Billy's saying, what think about Moyes' tactics tomorrow? Surely we need to have a set-up style, how we beat Chelsea and Jay Woods, most academy players need to play in League One. I don't agree. With that. Kind of commentary is better. Dele Ali, smash the like button, viewers. I think Spurs have the upper hand, missing Zuma, Ogbonna, and can't risk playing Antonio. Have to protect him for the league fixtures. That's interesting though, because Moyes wants to win a trophy, but has to protect the league. So it's like I don't know. Like, join us in a preview tonight, and we'll talk through the team and see what we think will happen there. He can hammer it, but what for? Coventry won't get in the team. No, but he could come back and go out on loan again. I think that's maybe what Happy's saying. Oi, Hartley, good to see you, mate. Billy is saying Moyes said that in his conference, saying that teams can name kids, but in his eyes, they're not senior players yet. And that shows you where his head's at. He wants to bleed these players in, but I do think that he will, if he thinks there's a couple there that are suitable to be in that squad a lot longer. I think he knows who can make the step up in his head, and I think we're going to see some of these. To be fair, Augie and Zuma's injury couldn't really have come at a better time than just before a window. Imagine if it had been early in February. Completely agree with you, 100%. Pete Chapman, afternoon all. I mean, like I said, Dalek, you're in the house. Good to see you. Pointless Coventry being there. Connor still played 12 games for Borough. Let him be there. Kroll and Vlasic are here. Enough middies in our squad, need strikers and centre-backs. Absolutely, and I think we'll see that movement happen in the January window. That is really the short ends of what he did say in his press conference. It was short and sweet. He spoke about VAR, he spoke about the virus. We have cases at the club. We don't know what players have it. We don't know what staff members have it. We don't know who's going to be available for the game tomorrow. What we do know for a fact, though, is Vladimir Sufal isn't making the game. So there you go. There's one piece of exclusive information. It's not exclusive anymore, of course, but Vladimir Sufal does not make the game. But hey-ho, let's be confident. Join me tonight, 9 o'clock, for the West Ham v Spurs preview. Myself and Matt will be talking through the team selection, how we think we'll set up, what mindset we should be in for the game. It's a big game in the club's history. It's a good opportunity for Moyes to go and push on and try and get West Ham into a semi-final of a cup competition, and let's hope we can do it tomorrow evening. Of course, we will be doing a match day live as well. P. Gads is saying play Antonio in the cup. Bowen can do the job versus Sunderland. So we have COVID, but not who. We don't know who, Happy, because they didn't say it out loud. I think we'll start to hear it over the next couple of days, and I think people who watch training will be able to pick up if players are missing as well. Well, RB73, he doesn't actually say that. He does talk about staff, but he does say that we do have cases. Where is that statement here? He says, the training ground has been really good. Most of them are okay. We have one or two with the virus, but mostly we're good, and long may that continue. So he does then talk about how staff have it, but it looks like I think a couple of players potentially do have it as well. Perhaps our lineup may not be as predictable as usual. I agree with you 100%. Moyes must play his top team. This is a quarterfinals and a realistic chance of a trophy. Absolutely. Can Benrahma and Bowen place two strikers together, depending upon situation? One can track back if needed to. I think they could, but I don't think Moyes will do that. I don't think he's going to change at this stage of the season. Yes, Billy, thank you for joining us. Hope you're safe, stay well, and yes, thank you for joining us. If you are new around here, come and subscribe to the channel. Join me at 9 o'clock tonight for the preview of the Spurs game. That was your David Moyes press conference for the Spurs game, and I'll see you at 9 o'clock. Take it easy and stay